In the Shade of the Qur'an by Sayyid Qutb, Surah 97, Al-Qadr, Power.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. We reveal it on the night of power, that you knew what the night of power is like. Better is the night of power than 1,000 months. On the night, the angels and the Spirit descend by the Lord's permission with all his decrees. That night is peace till the break of dawn. This surah speaks about the promised great night which the whole universe mark with joy and prayers. It is a night of perfect communion between this world and the highest society. It is a night which marks the beginning of the revelation of the Qur'an to Muhammad, peace be on him, an event unparalleled in the history of mankind for its splendor and the significance it has for the life of mankind as a whole. Its greatness is far beyond human realization. We reveal it on the night of power, that you knew what the night of power is like. Better is the night of power than 1,000 months. The Quranic statements which relate this great event radiate with Allah's clear and shining light. We reveal it on the night of power. There is also the light of the angels and the spirits moving between the earth and the higher society and the higher society. On the night of power, the angels and the spirit descend by the Lord's permission with all his decrees. In addition, there is also the light of dawn, which the surah represents as perfectly harmonious with the light of the Quran and the angels, as well as with the spirit of peace. That night is peace till the break of dawn. The night in question here is the same night referred to in Surah 44, the smoke. We reveal it, the Quran, on a blessed night, for we would warn mankind on a night when every precept was made plain as a commandment from us. We have ever sent forth messengers as a blessing from your Lord, who hears all and knows all. It is established that it is a night in the month of Ramadan, as stated in Surah number 2, the cow. In the month of Ramadan, the Quran was revealed, a book of guidance and distinguishing right from wrong. This means that the night of power marked the beginning of the revelation of the Quran to the Prophet and his charge of conveying it to mankind. Ibn Ishaq related that the first revelation, consisting of the opening of the Surah 96, the blood clots, took place in the month of Ramadan, when the Messenger of Allah was at his devotion in the cave of Hira. A number of traditions specifying this night have come down to us. Some stress that it is the 27th of Ramadan, others like the 21st. A few others say it is one of the last 10 days, and some others do not go beyond saying that it is in Ramadan. Its title, The Night of Power, may be taken to mean assignment, designation, and organization, or it may mean value, position, and rank. Both meanings are relevant to the great universal event of the revelation of the Qur'an and the assigning of the message to the Prophet. For it is the greatest and most precious of all events which the universe has witnessed. It is also the event which explains more clearly than any other the place of assignment, designation, and organization in the life of mankind. This night is better than 1,000 months. The figure here and elsewhere in the Quran does not signify its precise number. It simply denotes a very high number. Many thousand months and many thousand years have passed without leaving behind a fraction of the changes and the results brought about in that blessed and happy night. This night is of an essence too sublime to be understood by human intellect. Would that you knew what the night of power is like. There is no reason to attach any value to the legends circulating among the masses concerning this night. It is great because Allah has chosen it for the revelation of the Quran, so that its light may spread throughout the universe, the divine peace may spread in human life and conscience. That night is great because of what the Quran includes: an ideology, a basis for values and standards, and a comprehensive codes of moral and social behavior, all of which promote peace within the human soul and in the world at large. It is great because of the descent of the angels, and Jibril in particular, by the Lord's permission, carrying the Quran, which was first sent down on that night. They fill all the space between heaven and earth in such a splendid universal celebration vividly portrayed in this surah. When we look today in retrospect, after the lapse of numerous generations, at the glorious and happy night, and imagine the fascinating celebration the world witnessed on that night, and ponder over the essence of revelation and its far-reaching effect on human life and its values, we appreciate the greatness of this event. We can then understand to some extent why the Quranic reference to that night is made in such an equivocal way. Would that you knew what the night of power is like. On that night, every matter of significance was made plain and distinct. New values and standards were established. The fortunes of nations were determined, and values and standards were sifted. Humanity, out of ignorance and to its misfortune, may overlook the value and importance of the night of power. When humanity ignores all that, it loses the happiest and the most beautiful signs of grace, on which Allah bestowed on it. It loses the real happiness and peace gifted to it by Islam, namely the peace of conscience, family, and society. What it has otherwise gained of material civilization cannot be adequate compensation for its loss. Humanity is miserable in spite of higher production levels and better means of existence. The splendid light which once illuminated its soul has been put off. The brilliant touch of happiness which carried it high up to the highest society has been smoothed. The peace which overflowed on the hearts and minds had disappeared. Nothing can compensate for the happiness of the soul, the heavenly light, and the elevation of the loftiest ranks. We, the believers in Islam, are commanded not to forget or neglect this event. The Prophet has taught us an easy and enjoyable way to commemorate that night, so that our souls may always be in close communion with it, and with the universal event which took place in it. He has urged us to spend this night of each year in devotion. He said, "Seek the night of power in the last 10 nights of Ramadan." He spent the nights of power in worship with a pure motive of faith and devotion, will have all his past sins forgiven. Islam, he who spent the nights of power in worship with pure motives of faith and devotion, will have all his past sins forgiven. Islam is not mere formalities. Hence, the Prophet specified that the consecration of that night must be motivated by faith and devotion. This would make its consecration by an individual an indication of his full awareness of the far-reaching effects of what took place in that night. The Islamic method of character building links worship with faith and the truth it establishes in the heart and conscience of the individual. In this method, worship is considered a means for maintaining full awareness of these truths, its clarification and firm establishment in one's mind, heart and soul. This method has been proved to be the best of the revival of these truths, so that it may have a constant influence on man's conscience and behavior. The theoretical understanding of these truths cannot, on its own and without worship, establish it or give it the necessary impetus for its operation in the life of the individual or the life of the society. This link between the anniversary of the Night of Power and its consecration in faith and devotion is a part of the successful and upright method of Islam. Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim.